Good day, everybody. Welcome back. The Visit Julian podcast. So today I am with an adorable creature who we all know and love, and that is Jeremy from Jeremy's on the Hill. I'm sorry, I just referred to you as an adorable creature. Jeremy, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me here, Robin.
I'm so glad you came. And it's funny because I think you're my 41st podcast, and I've been wanting to do one with you for so long, so I'm glad that we could schedule a time and get together. Yeah. So Jeremy's on the Hill has been here, well, since my kids were in high school. So how long?
We're in I think we just started our 14th year.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. It almost seems like 15 or 16. You need to check those dates.
All right.
My daughter's getting old. So speaking of that, first of all, Jeremy's on the Hill is located in Wynola, which is basically, I'd say, less than 3 miles from the town hall. Totally worth the drive. It's amazing. When I was thinking about my daughter, I just want to say, you've just been such an active part of the community back in those days. And I'm sure you still do it. It's just that I don't have a kid in high school anymore. Little fundraising dinners to help the kids. And I just want to say, thanks for doing that.
My pleasure. The kids are the future. And it's something that I feel like if there's an opportunity to introduce a new experience, a new creative outlet, a way to just be and a way to open up people's minds, especially in a small town.
Sure.
I grew up in this town as well. I went to school here from elementary on. And when I moved away to San Francisco, and the more people I started to meet outside of Julian, I realized that there's a lot of opportunities in a small town, but there's also not a lot of opportunities in a small town.
No, absolutely.
So any form of art or any form of engagement or showing people or kids that there's a new way or there's a new, what am I trying to say? There's always more options out there.
I totally
what's
understand.
in
Yeah,
front of you.
Having raised 2 kids in this town, I totally get exactly what you're saying. Because when the youngest went off to college, and it was just so different. I was like, I told you, there's life outside of Julian, I swear. So let's talk about your restaurant. You are really vegan friendly. You're farm to table as much as possible with the current time. So talk a little bit about your food and your philosophy around your food.
My philosophies, I try to keep things as simple as possible. Some people don't think it's simple, but for me, it's like I only want to serve food that I would put in my body. So I'm super into you are what you eat. I'm big on no hormones, no antibiotics. I'm big on GMO free, especially with all these like food experiments and things that are going on. That there's no real testing for it. So there's no proven negative side effects from eating GMO food, but there's also not enough research out there or anybody who's taken time to do the research to show that GMO food is or is not bad for you.
Sure, as you see it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you look at like a study on it. I mean, GMO food's been around for a few decades now, maybe 30, 40 years. But it's nobody's going to do a 30 or 4-year experiment on people. Like there's nobody who's going to sign up for this lifelong project to see like to categorize or spend the money where like X amount of people eat non-GMO food. These people eat GMO food. Right. These people eat food pumped with hormones and antibiotics, and these people don't.
Yeah. Do you want to be that person who eats the food pumped with antibiotics?
Yeah. So
and
it's and again, like there's no proven evidence on a lot of this, but like how animals are raised.
Yeah.
You are what you eat. If animals are stressed out, if they're cooped up in a cage, they can't turn around. I mean. Animals don't have the same like feelings and receptors that we do as humans, but to some level something would transition into that as my philosophy. So
I just think that's so amazing that you think that deeply, because I feel so the same way. And when I interviewed that sweet gal from Diamond B Ranch and heard about the way she raises her food.
Is that Ashley? Ashley?
No, and now that's why I said that gal, because her name escapes me. So thank you for calling me out on that one. I was like, crap. But Diamond B Ranch is that way, and they have and I follow them on Facebook. They just have all these amazing pictures of their animals and their kids with their animals. So I totally hear what you're saying. So let's get down to the food. It's funny. I'll pick a favorite at your place and stick with that for a while. My husband's more adventurous, and then sometimes you just want your favorites, right? So, I think constantly on the menu, because he always gets it, is that chicken schnitzel. He just thinks that's the best thing on the planet. Me, I always want salmon, because he doesn't like salmon, so I can't cook it at home. So your salmon is amazing. Your meatloaf, oh my lotus.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Just really good, hearty food, you know?
Yeah. My family's from the Midwest, you know, so like my philosophy coupled with living in a tourist town is there is catering to locals and trying to do everything we can to keep locals always supporting and coming through the door. The locals are the backbone to any restaurant, even if you're in Little Italy, where there's massive tourist influx. There's a style to people's cuisines that I believe should be catered to locals. But also being in Julian, we do rely on tourism to keep a lot of the businesses' doors open. Not just restaurants, but shops.
Oh, yeah.
I guess
Activities.
shops encompasses everything.
No, well, I know, and activities and the craft beer that's really coming up in here.
Yeah. So we, and granted, it's like when a lot of people come to a busy tourist town, when they get that meal, they're looking for like, they want to be full.
Right, right.
So that's always the struggle, because like I trained at Cordon Bleu, so I trained in this like classical French cuisine background. I worked at a couple really nice restaurants where you eat for an experience and for the meal of the day versus, I should say, for a meal during the day versus like a meal for the day. So we do have larger portion sizes. We do our best to accommodate every dietary restriction out there. My sister was vegan and she had celiac disease literally up until she was pregnant. Now she could drink beer again.
Oh, wow.
Which it just baffled. Like my sister is a sommelier, and after when she got pregnant, like her wine senses were off, and she like lost her lid in the most respectful way. She's like, she I don't know. It's just been amazing. There's just so many people who come through the doors, and I used to look at like dietary restrictions as problems and headaches, and now it's like the more I dive into like the history of food and learning about food and how it's changed over time, even like through science underneath microscope, what grains of flour look like.
Right.
There's people who have celiac disease, like they could eat pasta over in Italy, but they can't eat pasta over here in America.
Right. Yeah, the processing is so different.
It is, and it's like we just get so many different walks of life who come through the door that it used to literally, when I was younger, we opened the restaurant when I was 20, so I was still a little punk kid. I used to look at it as a problem, and now I respect it more.
Yeah,
so,
and I think you also embrace it, not just respecting it, but I see you as, I know that, you know me, we've known each other for years, and I've gone through some crazy crap in my life and not been well. And you've helped me. Like, you're like, oh, let me make you this. Let me, and you get excited about it. You don't just go, okay, well, I'll make you something that, but for me, I think it's one of the reasons we try to eat at your restaurant as much as possible is you were excited about helping me, eat something that didn't make me sick.
I love you, Robin.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But I know you love me. But I also feel like that isn't just exclusive to me. If someone else walked in and said, oh, I have this going on, you're going to your face lights up, to figure out a way to make a meal that's tastes delicious, but really is supportive of the person's needs. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about the restaurant industry is people come in there to eat food, but they might not know it, but they want to come in, and they come in to feel happy, and they want a full experience. So it's not just the food, it's not just the service. One of the things I'm trying to embed in our staff's head is the dining experience. But one of my business philosophies is we don't pay our bills when somebody comes through the door one time. We pay our bills when we have repeat customers. When people come in over and over again.
Right.
And then when they come in, we want to set that standard and keep that standard high. So we're a smaller restaurant than some of the other restaurants in town, but we pride ourselves on doing the best we can and offering a unique dining experience that people can't find anywhere.
Yeah, and that's true. And Julian, especially, you're very well set apart from all the restaurants in Julian. Not that they're not all great. Everybody actually has their own niche, but you for me are a standout. That you have just your own way of doing things, and I think it's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I want to state now for the record, I eat everywhere in this town. I love every restaurant in this town.
Yes.
I mean, I do. It's just your food is that birthday dinner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's my mom's birthday, we're going to Jeremy's. It's Riley's birthday, we're going to Jeremy's. That kind of stuff, you know, when people come in from out of town, we go to Jeremy's. So there is that experience. And the other thing is, your food's, I'm imagining myself, and I'll tell why in a minute, why I've got this giggle, but your food is pretty. You know, when it sits down in front of you, it looks like a piece of art.
I call it food foreplay.
There you go. It's just, your food's just so pretty. I just like the way you just dribble that little piece of cabbage or what have you on top of the meatloaf. That it just looks like this tower. You know, it's just a pretty. And so what I was laughing at, and hopefully people are listening will identify with this. Sometimes when someone puts your food in front of you, you do this little dance and your little fingers go like, oh, there's my dinner. Like I do a little happy dance when the food gets set down. And then you're also famous. How did it happen? I don't know, but you are famous for your Brussels sprouts.
I don't know how it happened either.
Right?
The funniest story is I bought Brussels sprouts at Costco one time, and they sat in the walk-in for like 2 weeks. And I was like, I don't know what to do with them. So I started like going through the kitchen because I used to have this thing where I would just like buy random stuff. Like, oh, that looks good. That's pretty. Let me buy that. I'll take that.
Yeah.
And then one day I just started like throwing different ingredients together, and we didn't have them on the menu yet, but I literally I took a batch of these Brussels sprouts, we flash fry them, and then we make our own ponzu sauce. So we take low sodium soy sauce, which for the record is not low sodium, if anybody's ever seen the ingredient label. Brown sugar, red pepper flakes, ginger, and lemon juice. And bring all that to a boil, and then we flash fry the sprouts, toss it in that. And then I just walked around to all the tables, and I was like, hey, this is a new appetizer we're trying. Like, let me know what you think. And it turned into a hit.
Right.
And so we went from, when we first started these Brussels sprouts, going through like 25, 30 pounds of Brussels sprouts a week. And now, on average, on a slow week, 100 pounds of Brussels sprouts up to like 250 pounds of Brussels sprouts.
I can totally see
that.
It's
crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the other thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me, because we get Brussels sprouts, I would say every time we come, the ingredients sometimes change. Like sometimes you have apple on them, sometimes you have mango, other things.
We've changed it throughout the time based on elements. Like part of what what I love to do is take an ingredient and find a way to prepare it like 4 or 5 different ways. So we used to do an apple fennel slaw. So we used to garnish the Brussels sprouts with that. Then we walked away from that for a period of time. And of course I forget about it. So then it's like, oh, let's garnish it with something else. So then we take like right now we do our pineapple pico.
Pineapple. That's because we were just there a couple nights ago and Mark said there was pineapple on there. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And then like I have a good friend who lives in Valley Center. His name's Harvey. He's a citrus farmer. He brings up these lemons that are literally like the size of a softball.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, the lemon market, lemons are always associated with summertime, but it's a January crop.
Oh,
like lemons are for cold weather, not for hot weather. And so like as the seasons progress on and we come into like June, July, August, prices of lemons go from like $40 a case to like $80 or $90
Holy
a case.
schmoly.
So this guy Harvey, he just comes in and he brings me this big old 50-pound box of lemons, and he's like, oh, how about we just trade for iced tea and fish and chips? And I'm like, my man, that's perfect.
You go. That's
so
great.
you know, and that's one of the things I love about the small town too is we do a lot of barter with farmers. Like I just had a gal come by with like 5 different varieties of heirloom garlic.
Oh wow.
And she wasn't sure if I needed it or not, and like in my head I'm like, crap, we buy like the peeled garlic because we go through like 10 pounds of garlic every week with our French fries. So and then I started thinking, I was like, man, we could like, she brings these heirloom varietals of garlic in. We could start doing like, we can try to roast them off in the oven, turn an appetizer into it. So like as these people come in, Tracy Turner, I used to trade with chicken eggs for her. So she would bring me chicken eggs and goat milk. And I'd give her gift certificates in exchange. Yeah. So you know, I think that's one of the things about the small town that's so incredible is like, we have this reputation for like networking and working with all walks of life, whether it's vintners, brewers, animal farmers, vegetable farmers, fruit farmers, and to build those connections and to have like that symbiotic relationship with people, it excites me.
Sure.
Because I never know when they're going to show up, so I can count on them, but I can't count on them.
Right.
But then when they show up, it's like, oh, you know, I just ordered a case of lemons, so now what do I do? Or it's like, I just got 15 dozen eggs, what do I do? So then it's like, okay, we'll do a Holstein-style schnitzel, where it's like, we'll do the chicken schnitzel, we'll put capers on it, and we'll do like a sunny-side-up egg. So it keeps the creative juices going.
Sure.
My mind's always spinning and moving, so I have a really hard time.
That's very obvious, by the way, that your mind is always spinning and moving. You can't hide that.
So it's a great way for me to utilize like what I have inside of me and like share it with people.
Yeah,
and hopefully help change people's lives. Like one of my favorite things in the world to do is like when families come in and there's a kid who wants to be a chef. Like part of me is like, please don't do it, but the other part of me is like, all right, come back into the kitchen.
Right.
Let me show you. I'll walk them through the kitchen and I'll make a creme brulee with them. It's like,
very cool.
What kid doesn't like playing with fire?
Right.
It's a great experience.
Danger at Jeremy's on the hill.
The mom's watching with the camera.
Right. Yeah. Right. Please don't burn your hair. Eyebrows.
Yeah.
That's funny. But that's really cool of you to do that. You know, I mean, it's like you said, you're creating an experience, and whether it's a local kid or a visitor kid, it doesn't matter. You've sparked something in them from that visit. So
I love the kids too. It was like we used to do the farm to school program for the school district, and one of the things I love about it is like when you look at kids, like they haven't been corrupted by the world yet,
right?
So they still have innocence in them. So it's like it almost like it like alivens me to work with kids because it like I could have a bad day and then like I could literally have these kids come in and they're you know, they want to learn, they want to be a chef one day. And again, I'm like, oh, it's a hard lifestyle, but like, well, let me show you, you know, it's not the Food Network, but let me show you how to do some of this stuff and then you could figure it out. But it's fun. There's a couple kids who've come in like every year, like they'll come up for Apple Days and the kitchen's insane. But they come in and I take the time to stop and say hi. We make a dessert. And usually like whipped cream gets thrown and, you know, people, you know, it's just, it makes an experience for them. And, you know, I know their parents appreciate it, but it makes the mark in the kids, which to me is extremely important because as times progress on, like COVID did so much good for people, but it also took away a lot of sociable interaction and experiences. So if there's a way to bring that back and like show normalcy, quote unquote, whatever that means now, but just let them know that there's always more opportunities out there for them, and there's never when one window closes, one window should open.
Right.
So if I could somehow help somebody with that, and I could change one person's life, like that to me is a big deal.
Wow. I just thought we were going to talk about food, but no, Jeremy's on fire.
It all intertwines.
It
together.
does. No, I'm just being a dork because that's my nature. Oh goodness. Okay, so also being the chubby girl that I am, let's talk about desserts.
Yes.
Let's talk about your dessert chef. Is she a chef? Is that what you call her?
I call her Aunt Carla.
Right.
She taught me how to cook. She makes a lot of our desserts. So one of our signature desserts is our triple layer carrot cake. I think we've had it on the menu now for about a decade. We usually don't tell people it's gluten free until they're done eating it. You would never know.
Right. You would never know.
No, it's an incredible dessert. The good thing about Julian is Julian resides at about 4,100 feet. Calories burn off at 3,800 feet. So when you come up to Julian and you eat up here, there's no calories in our food.
That's hilarious.
We always have like a rotating cheesecake. Like right now, I think we have a white chocolate orange cheesecake, and then our next one will be a macadamia nut white chocolate cheesecake. Creme brulee, we do Chambord creme brulees. We have a chocolate duet on the menu where we do Belgian dark chocolate truffles with a chocolate cream puff.
Oh my God,
fresh fruit, chantilly cream. Apple cobbler. We chose to do apple cobbler instead of apple pie, even though we're in Julian, because we felt that if a lot of people are going to come to our town and absorb apple pie.
Right.
Hopefully wine, beer, a couple shops, and apple pie.
Right. And maybe stay for a night or two.
Yeah. There's so many great places up here.
That's the one thing I notice about restaurants here and the restaurant owners is they eat at each other's restaurants, right? You know, Regulars is over at Ketcho, you know, and it warms my heart that it's more of a collaboration than anything else, you know.
It's a small community, so I think like part of any community, like whether you're in the city or you're in the mountains, there's always groups of people who formulate together and get together to do things and help each other out.
Right.
And one of the things I love about Julian is a lot of people move up here for, I don't want to say the slower lifestyle, but I want to say for that like country, it's like a country, what's the word? It's just like that country lifestyle. It's like a little bit slower paced. People really aren't in a hurry, hopefully. Just kind of like de-stress, unwind.
Yeah, it's a cooler vibe.
Yeah.
And when I say cool, I don't mean Fonzie thumbs up cool. I can't believe I just referenced Fonzie. But like a cool, mellow, like a breeze kind of vibe. Yeah. And speaking of collaboration stuff, and I told you before the podcast I wanted to mention this because a couple of years ago, right before COVID, I think it was, we decided to all the restaurants that wanted to got together and we all worked hard to participate in California Restaurant Month. And you were a big part of that in just sharing ideas with everybody and the importance of it. And I wanted to express some appreciation to you for collaborating with us on the California Restaurant Month, and hopefully we can do that again.
Yeah, I think it's good. And you know, it's funny, there's a lot of, I think maybe it's just me from the places I worked at, but a lot of people are like secretive about like how they do things and what they do. But a rising tide floats all ships. So the more knowledge that we share with each other, everybody wins.
Right.
Julian would not be successful if there was only one or two great restaurants, one or two great shops, one or two great hotels.
Right.
We want people to come back multiple times to visit us and share what we put together and what we are and what we believe in and what we are creating. So the more great businesses that are up here, the more opportunities there are for all kinds of people to visit our town, share our town, promote our town.
To that regard, because we've had this conversation at the chamber is, you know, this person's doing this and they're getting a lot of attention or what have you. Yes. And let's say that, you know, 1,000 people come up for this one person's event or special or whatever. Those 1,000 people aren't going to go only there.
Right.
They're going to come and they're going to migrate down Main Street. They're going to migrate into Wainola. They'll migrate out to the wineries. Even if they don't on that first trip, something will catch their eye and they'll say, oh, I got to come back for that, you know? And so, like you said, the rising tide lifts all of us. And so the more wonderful things we have, the better our own economy is going to be. The better the standard of living becomes for the people who live here. And that just becomes a circle because people come back for more and to bring their friends and to bring their kids. A lot of people talk about how, you know, they came here with their parents 20 years ago and now they're back, you know, with their own kids. It's pretty cool.
I love it. So we're Jeremy's on the Hill is the name of my restaurant. We're located in what used to be an iconic symbol of Julian, and it was Tom's Chicken Shack. We had two people come in yesterday. They're like, oh, we haven't been here since it was Tom's Chicken Shack. So we're talking 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago.
Yeah.
I used to go there when I was a kid. They had this little like coin operated machine in the front that you put 50 cents in, it'd cluck like a chicken, and you'd get a little egg.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
But it was funny because they came in, they asked if we had fried chicken, and one of the things we do on Sundays now is we do our fried chicken Sunday. So they came in, and Jesse was out there, who's my sous chef, talking to him, and I was like, promote it, we can make it for him. So we did a couple of fried chickens for them, and it was great. You know, it just they were happy about it, warmed their heart. We did something special again for somebody, and I think one of the great things about food is there's so many like subconscious memories we have as children or places in our lives that we may or may not remember, but if we smell something or we see it, it almost takes us back to that moment in time. So it's almost like the last memory that you had of smelling something or seeing something. Like what's great about restaurants is we get to incorporate that on a day-to-day basis with people who walk through the door. We don't even know who they are that we're doing it to them. So it's just something that could remind them of it. It could be a waiter's flair, could remind them of how their one of their parents who worked in the restaurant industry used to wait on people or show people. So it's beautiful. It's a very rewarding job that's hardworking, and it's gratifying to, I don't want to say change people's lives, but to help people be happy, and being happy you live longer. You're more, you just feel better about it.
Absolutely. There's the machine I told you would make noise sometimes. It almost never fails to make noise.
Robin gets faxes. I didn't know people still faxed.
They do. Crazy. I don't know what that's all about. You brought fried chicken up. So as you know, I'm your fried chicken fanatic, and your fried chicken Sundays nowhere near as as fried chicken Fridays. The word I can't even say. It's like, but what makes me really happy for those who love fried chicken, I don't know if it's the last 2 times, but twice in the last few times I visited you, that fried chicken sandwich. Holy schmoly. That's if I want fried chickens on Sunday, life doesn't afford me the opportunity to come up to your place on Sunday like it did on Fridays. So going there just a couple nights ago, and that second time I've had that fried chicken sandwich, and
that's really fun. We put that on the menu. I think it was a couple years ago. It was during the Chick-fil-A feud.
Oh, that's funny.
Who else was it? Who was the other one? It was Chick-fil-A, Popeyes. That's what it was. So I was like, all right, we'll play the fried chicken game.
That's funny.
That was literally why we put it on the menu.
It's been on the menu that long?
Yeah.
Dude, you know why? Because it's the same thing. We'll take us back to the very beginning of this conversation. I find stuff that I really like, and I stick with it. So I was like, meatloaf. And then during when we first started reopening, I cannot say this word, and your waitress was not. She wouldn't tell me I was saying it wrong, so I was ordering like Bolognese or whatever. And she was like, okay. And then I heard it somewhere else, or somebody told me, and I was like, why didn't Jeremy's tell me that is not how you say it? But I know that's not on the menu anymore. Yeah. So if I can raise a petition for that to come back on the menu, oh my God, that stuff is amazing.
It's funny. We used to, because I trained at Cordon Bleu, so I used to have a lot of French words on the menu. And my aunt, who does our pastries now, she helped waitress tables for a while. And we had gnocchi on the menu. And I remember her coming into the kitchen and she goes, "What's ganache?" Oh, and so it's everybody does it.
Yeah,
And that's one of the things about this town is it's like we're slower paced. It's like we're relaxed up here.
What you're saying is we learn a little slower, right? Because I just wanted Bolognese and I don't care how you say it. That stuff was so good. Oh, I love that stuff. The little it's another word I have trouble with is prosciutto.
Prosciutto.
Yeah. That's I only like that one. It's really really crispy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So in that Bolognese, it was like right. You had that in there, right? It's super crispy. Yeah. Super good.
Yeah, it cooks like bacon. So we would just same preparation as you would do bacon, but you just prosciutto. Yeah. Bacon's from the belly. This trips me out about pigs. Is it's like they call it a pork butt, but it comes from the shoulder. Because the ham is where prosciutto's from. Oh. So like your Easter ham, like that's technically part of the cut of meat. It's just cured or cooked differently.
Right. Yeah.
It's cooked with salt. It's not prosciutto's not actually cooked.
Oh yeah. Okay. And then just because we're going over food, Devils on Horseback. When we came up the other night for my mom's, let's not talk about that other incident with the Devils on Horseback. But my mom, we brought it up for her birthday. I'm like, have you had those? And she's like, no. And, it's an appetizer. And there's only, what is there, like 5 or 6?
5 of them.
Yeah. Which is stupid. Could you get an even number? Sometimes there's 2 of us. Sometimes there's 4 of us.
I'll pay attention next
who
time.
fights over the last one? That's just the worst. But I remember the boys were, I don't know, outside or something. And they came to the table. And my mom was like, she wanted to hoard them all, like, so that nobody, they're so good.
Next time you come in, just make sure the waitress knows. Just say Robin is here on the ticket, and I'll give you the hookup.
So could you just make an even number? Because then so let's just say there's 2 of you there, and you each have 2, and there's that 5th one sitting there, and you're just like,
It's funny because going out to restaurants, like culinary school, they're like, oh, odd numbers on the plate are better. They're more appealing to the eye, and I was like, okay, we'll do odd numbers. But literally, it's like you go on a date or you go out with somebody, and it's an odd number something on the plate. You're like, crap, who's going to eat the last one?
Exactly.
Like, would you like the last one?
Right?
No, you have it. And you both want it.
Right.
So it's like,
Totally. That's exactly what I'm talking about, man. Oh, goodness. All right. I could talk to you forever. So, we need to talk about the bar.
Yes.
So let's talk about that.
So I tried to buy a house up here. I got overbid by about $300,000. So, yeah, I got approved for a loan for $650K, and I tried to buy this place that I've been living at for about 12 years now. I had it all mapped out as like, I've been living in this 1-bedroom studio. There's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. There's this other garage that I could turn into a house. Vulcan Mountain Winery is right next door to me. I have the perfect hillside. I was like, great, I'll network with Vulcan Mountain Winery. We can plant grapes over here. Wow. It'll be great. Like, I had it all mapped out in my head. So I approached them, gave them an offer. The property went on the market, and it went for $975.
Wow!
So I was like, crap. So I took the money from the down payment on this property I wanted to buy, bought a liquor license, and we've been doing beer and wine for 12 years or so. And then we just got the liquor license in end of December. We got approval, so we pulled the trigger on it in January. And from there, it's just been interesting to see how people react to different. I thought Julian, we were gonna sell like mostly like whiskeys and bourbons because I'm kind of thinking like Cowboy Town. It's Julian. And our liquor sales are just like me. It's vodka and gin, vodka and gin. So it's been great. We just finished our cocktail list. So now I think we have 8 classic cocktails with a twist. One of the things I love is like I try to take things that everybody's really familiar with and just put a little spin on it.
Sure.
That way it's not too foreign, not too funky, not too different, I guess would be the best description.
Exotic or whatever.
Yeah, because I mean we're in Julian. We're not in we're not we're
Go ahead. Where?
Yeah,
where are we
I'm
not?
saying.
New York. I don't know, right?
I'm going to one of those places tonight. But it's the cocktails are great. Adding the liquor license, you know, from a business owner's point of view, it's like a 360 pro. You know, people are like, oh, liquor markups are so great. Well, just like anybody else who's tried to buy things like since COVID, like I have friends up here who own wineries and like the cost of their glass has gone up 50%.
Right. People don't think about the bottles. Yeah.
It's crazy. And there's only one, I don't know what the right word is. I'm going to say one ginormous glass manufacturer plant in the United States. And they shut down about 6 months ago for a huge, massive remodel.
Oh, wow.
So like if you were ever looking for like your favorite champagne or something and you couldn't find it, it's literally like this one factory on the East Coast shut down and they're back open again now. But the supply chain's just crazy. So like even as we progress on, the quote unquote incredible margins that people think liquor has, like we make more money off wine than we do liquor, per glass sale, which is crazy. I mean, there's pros and cons. Like wine goes bad quicker, so like after 2 days we pitch the bottle.
Yeah, if someone doesn't love that wine, you're not selling a ton of it for sure.
So liquor is great because it attracts a different level of clientele. It brings more people in. It allows us. We're still like fine tuning and tweaking how. What sells, what doesn't sell, appropriate price points and comfortable price points per people. When I go out to eat or drink, I don't just want to be able to buy 1 or 2. It's like sometimes I want 2 or 3 based on like how much time I'm there.
Sure.
What am I discussing? Is it a work event?
Right.
Are we on a date?
Yeah.
You know, is it a busy night where they have to turn the tables quick? So we're working on building our bar out. We just added 3 new tables to the bar. So our bar now seats, I think only 12 or 14 people. We're working on building an outdoor bar with Dan Marino, who just opened up a shop down at Julian Station.
Danny Marino from like Julian?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that's
we used
crazy.
to skateboard together. And then he went out to be a firefighter.
I was just saying, I thought he was in firefighter.
Yeah, so he just came back. So he's down there. He's building, he's super into like trucks and outdoor rigs and stuff. So he's building like these custom camper shells on vehicles. So I approached him because he told me that he did the tables up at Ketcho. So I was like, oh, cool. Let me like if this guy wants to weld, it's like I got some projects. So we're working on building an outdoor bar. We redesigned our patio, themed it after Valle Guadalupe.
Yeah, the patio is fantastical.
And it's just a beautiful place. So I'm trying to build like an outdoor bar. I'm going to build an outdoor bar and focus on that for like spring, summer, fall.
Sure.
It's just so beautiful up here. One of the things, if you haven't been to Julian or you haven't been all 4 seasons, spring is absolutely beautiful up here. Summer's warm. The nights are incredible. It's like the best place. You could see the moon. You see all the stars. And to have like a late night drinking venue hangout spot is beautiful.
Yeah.
The fall, all the colors of the leaves are changing. The patio heaters are out. It's warm enough to wear shorts and long socks or in a jacket or
just not black
just
socks with those shorts.
Yeah. And then the wintertime it's cold.
Yeah.
So we do get snow. So Julian is San Diego's small mountain town that represents all 4 seasons. It's the only place you could really go to experience all 4 seasons.
Absolutely. I just posted that on our social media a couple days ago. Under things to do in Julian, it's enjoy all 4 seasons, and then the night sky. People are getting more and more aware of how lovely it is.
It's beautiful. I haven't done it for a couple of years, but I used to love just going to the high school track at night, and I'd run and then like just stretch out and then just like lay on my back and look at the stars.
Yeah.
It's just so magical up here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So coming back to the liquor license, we're working with Julian's known for apple, so we're working on like some apple cocktails, some specialty things that. Again, people can wrap their head around that aren't too foreign and that are more domestic, but still offer that like unique spin that people just don't get anywhere.
I have a friend who and he's a male, and so we harass him about this. But for a while, you know how you go through drink phases? Like, now I'm into margaritas, and my husband right now is into the rusty nail. But his thing for a while was the appletini.
Okay.
And I was like, really? Appletini? But that's something maybe you should, because you could create a drink phase of the appletini.
I love it. It's funny, when I was a kid, vodka Red Bulls were like the rage. And now it's like the last few restaurants I've been to, I did like a little Italy tour last 2 weeks ago, and everywhere we went, espresso martinis now the new rays. And I'm just like, man, it's a vodka Red Bull, but for sophisticated people.
It's in a pretty glass, right?
Yeah, with some beans on it.
That's funny. Oh, goodness. All right, so I always ask this at the end. This is one of my longest. You're not the longest. We haven't made it that far yet, but I want to make sure that we, cover everything you wanted to talk about. Sometimes I forget about something, or I just want to make sure that before we hit the end button that I give you the opportunity to just tell people what you want them to know, something we may have not talked about yet.
We're a family-run restaurant. We do our best on a day-to-day basis. We just brought on a new front-of-the-house manager who's incredible. I've known Ramon 6 years, 7 years.
Yeah, because he was in Borrego.
He was in Borrego, yes. And the stars aligned, so he joined our team now. We're just... It's wild. It's crazy to think about the phases of the restaurant that we've gone through for 13, 14 years. We're not just a come and go restaurant. We like some trends. We don't ride too hard on trends because I really believe that classics and catering to the locals is like the staple. So if you're looking for something unique and different that's off the beaten path, come up and visit us. Yeah. We're open 6 days a week right now. We'll soon be at 7. Our website is jeremysonthehill.com. We're active on Instagram, which is also Jeremy's on the Hill. Facebook. I do not tweet.
I know, I gave up on tweeting too. I was like, this is just stupid.
I can't believe tweeting came back to life. I was just baffled.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was. We all know why, but let's not talk about that. Just so you know, we have show notes, and this podcast shows up in several different locations, Spotify and all that. But we make sure on the base, we'll link to all your social media. We'll link to your website, contact information, address. All that will be in the show notes.
Okay, great.
All right, cool.
Awesome.
All right, Jeremy.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for coming in. Yes, thank you for listening. All right, over and out.
Between aging and busy lifestyles, many women struggle with maintaining their physical and mental wellness. At Aquavita Concierge Healthcare Services for Women, we can help you revitalize your health and reclaim your life. We start from within by balancing your hormones, allowing your body to achieve and maintain desired weight goals. We also specialize in peptide therapies, regenerative medicine, sexual health, and aesthetics in our state-of-the-art facilities. Feel better, look better, live better at Aquavita. Visit aquavitality.com and begin your journey today.
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.